Yo, what's going on, guys? It is time for another reaction video. Today I'm going to be reacting to how McDonald's French fries are made in other food production processes. So not much to explain there. Just going to jump straight into this, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Hello everyone. Want to see how the giant McDonald's corporation makes its burgers and other stuff? Then let's get it on. The process of making buns begins with dough. To make it, McDonald's uses flour, water, liquid yeast, and salt. Then the sponge is sent to a fermentation room for about 4 hours. After that, the dough goes down the chute and gets mixed with other ingredients, for example, sugar and salt. But don't worry, of course, buns are not the most dietary product, but they still contain less than 5% sugar. At the next stage, a huge machine twists the dough, after which the conveyor shapes it into small balls. Then these balls are given a light dusting of flour and put into special baking pans. Then the balls have to stay there for 55 minutes at a temperature.
Look how tall that is. It's like a tower of hamburger buns. I always wonder, the engineers and the people that design these things, how closely do they work with the people who do the food prep, right? So somewhere they have to have a marriage of the people who are making this stuff on the assembly lines originally, back when it was all done manually, and then partnering that with the engineers that come up with these tools or machines or whatever you want to call them, to produce this stuff. I never would have in a million years imagined that it would be like a tower of buns. I would have just thought it was something like a an oven, kind of like a pizza oven, how they pass through or something like that.
Of 100 degrees Fahrenheit and a humidity of 90%. So what else is left? Of course, sesame seeds. The buns are passed through a machine that applies an even coating of those, and then the buns are sent into a huge oven for 8 to 9 minutes at a temperature of 465 degrees Fahrenheit. After the buns are thoroughly baked, they're left on a special spiral cooler.
They look like little sponges there, like makeup sponges or something like that.
Where they cool down for about 27 minutes. After that, they also have to be checked by specialists who inspect them, and only then send them for slicing and packaging. In the restaurants, employees will brown them in a special oven. Meanwhile, the process of making beef patties at McDonald's is incredibly simple. The beef arrives to the processing plant in special sealed trucks. The meat is checked for its freshness and various bacteria. After that, lean and fat are mixed together and ground in a huge meat grinder. That way they get 100% real beef, like the ones you could buy at any grocery store. The main secret of their beef patties is that as soon as the special device gives them shape, they immediately go into a giant freezer, where they stay for 24 minutes. After that, they're packed and sent to the restaurants. Just think about these figures. One such factory can produce about 3 million patties a day. In the restaurants, they're cooked on a double-sided hot plate until they reach an internal temperature of at least 155 degrees Fahrenheit.
3 million a day. I wonder how many different factories there are specifically for McDonald's, and then how many regions that they provide the patties for, and how many patties are consumed a day. I mean, that's just 3 million a day. That's insane. And then the fact that theirs goes straight from fresh to frozen. I think it's Wendy's. I could be wrong, but I think it's Wendy's that claims their patties are never frozen. So I wonder what their process is. I'm gonna have to see if I can find a video to how quickly they can get it from factory to store for it to not be frozen and still be maintain the freshness to cook it and serve it.
In order to grow high-quality lettuce, the land on farms is regularly checked. After harvesting, the vegetables are sent to the factory, where they're thoroughly washed and disinfected. Next, experts check the harvest for freshness and throw away any damaged leaves. After that, the lettuce is sliced or chopped, depending on how it needs to be served at the restaurants. And here are the famous pickles we love so much in any burger.
Personally, I'm not much of a fan of pickles. One of the things I just saw that was kind of cool though is it seems like the computer automatically scans like the size and shape of them, and if they're like strange shapes or I guess too wide at one end versus the other, they get booted and kicked out. So I wonder what McDonald's is doing with the ones they get rid of. Are they selling them on a secondary market somewhere? I remember seeing a video some years ago of a produce company that took all the rejected produce specifically from like things like this and then sold it at a lower cost. So I wonder if they're doing something like that with these pickles, or maybe they're donating them to other countries or people in need. Who knows? If you do know, tell me in the comments. I want to know.
The basis of the Heinz ketchup recipe remains unchanged, namely tomatoes, sugar, salt, spices, and vinegar.
Hold on.
Namely tomato.
They say tomato, yet they put a picture of celery. Somebody messed up.
Sugar, salt, spices, and vinegar. The tomatoes for the ketchup are grown on special farms where producers use only selected seeds. It is important for the future sauce that the tomatoes have a large amount of pulp and a low moisture content, so that there would be no need to add starch to the product. Then, spices are added to the tomato paste, which are made from herbs, hot peppers, and vegetables. The exact recipe is a closely guarded secret, and the only known ingredient is celery. After that, the resulting mass is loaded into a mixing container, and vinegar, sugar, and salt are added to it. Then the ketchup goes through a pasteurization stage, after which it's put in a homogenizer, a device that grinds all the components, creating a homogeneous, thick mass. After that, the ketchup must be cooled quickly. This process, as well as pasteurization, is necessary for long-term storage of the product. Of course, you can't make a burger without a good slice of cheese. Check out how they make them.
If you think, 20, 30 years ago, maybe 50 years ago, I don't know how long ago since they've had these types of machines, but somebody was probably doing this by hand, obviously, at one point. And it's probably doing in like 2 seconds what would probably take somebody like 5 minutes to do. Like it's just like chop, 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 done. Chop, 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 done. And that would probably take a human 10 times, 20 times as long to do it.
The path of the fish fillets to the restaurants begins in the sea. First, fish are caught with nets in large numbers. After that, they're sent to the factory to be washed and sorted. They're delivered to the next factory in the form of large fish blocks. A special machine saws each block into 150 portions, after which, moving further along the conveyor belt, they're covered with a layer of batter. After that, the fish has to be frozen, and a huge chamber manages that in just 8 minutes. And of course, the manufacturers don't want to offer you a bad product, so they conduct a frying test on several portions that helps to make sure the fish fillet has a good taste, smell, and color. The fries begin their journey on farms. Potatoes are grown there with an optimal number of sunny days. After harvesting, the potatoes are put into a huge potato peeler. The principle of its operation is very similar to that of a washing machine, but there is an abrasive inner surface in the drum. After that, the potatoes are sent further along the belt and thoroughly washed. Then each...
It's amazing how fast all this food gets processed and then how much time it actually takes to produce it all, right? So getting these cows up to size to be slaughtered and chopped up into this ground beef, and how long does it take these potatoes to grow, and all the stuff that you need to make 3 million buns a day. Like, the demand to grow all of this or raise all this cows or fish out all these fish, like it's just amazing how fast we can keep up with the demand, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And this is just McDonald's, so if you think about like all the restaurants and places and just the grocery stores and all the places that we have food readily available to us, all the steps that it has to take to before it gets to the shelf or to your plate. This is just, one small part of that entire process just for one fast food chain. I'm hoping I can find more videos like this for other restaurant chains or fast food chains.
Each potato passes through a series of blades that cuts it into the fries we know. It's important to note that at that moment, the potatoes can move at a speed of up to 37 miles per hour. You know that potatoes often have dark spots, right? To remove them, laser and optical scanners are used, which automatically detect defects and remove the imperfections with a stream of compressed air. Then, the potato slices are dried on.
Wow, so it scans them, pulls them aside, removes the bad part, and then lets it go on to the next step. That's, again, a machine replacing what a human would do and doing it at light speed. It's just nuts, man.
Giant baking sheets. At about the same time, specialists conduct the last quality check, after which they freeze and pack the potatoes. All that's left to do then is for the potatoes to get to the restaurant, where they'll be deep fried in oil with a high content of oleic acid. What about Coca-Cola, which is considered to be the most popular drink of McDonald's? The beverage production process begins with a multi-system of purification that water goes through. Then, a mixture of sugar syrup and concentrate is added to the purified water. The liquid then goes into a special machine where it's mixed and saturated with carbon dioxide. Then, the finished drink is put into bottles that pass through a filled bottle inspection system that checks the height of the liquid and ensures the cap is placed properly. If the system discovers something wrong, it simply knocks the defective bottle off the conveyor belt. Then, they put labels on the bottles and another machine prints the date, time of bottling, as well as the expiration date of the drink.
Amazing, just amazing. Now, I can't remember if it was on History Channel or if it was on Discovery, but I watched, I think it was like a full hour-long episode on the history of Coca-Cola versus Pepsi and the rise of the two and the rivalry between the two. That was like a really, really interesting episode to watch. So if anybody knows where you can find that, possibly on streaming or something, comment below with a link to it, because if you like this type of video content, that's a really cool one to watch. Can't believe they're able to stack them that high without them collapsing on themselves. That's crazy.
The process begins with whole chickens. The employees separate the breast feet for the McNuggets. After that, the meat is sent to the blending room, where it's ground up by a blender. At this stage, seasonings such as celery and black pepper are added to the mix, as well as a bit of chicken skin for flavor and as a binder. But those are not our favorite nuggets yet. The resulting mixture is sent to a special forming machine that portions the blended chicken into 4 different shapes: the ball, the bell, the boot, and the bow tie. Then, the shapes are covered with a light batter and a thicker batter called tempura. After that, they are par-fried so that the batter stays in place. If you break the nuggets in half at this stage, you will find raw blended chicken inside. The thing is, they'll be fully cooked in the restaurant so that they stay fresh. So, after being par-fried, the semi-finished nuggets are frozen and packed in a special room, where they wait for their shipment to a McDonald's restaurant.
Very, very, very interesting. Some of that stuff I'd seen, most of that was new. Let me know in the comments if you like this video, this type of reaction videos. If you have some other ones like this I should check out. And the link to this video will be in the description as well. So if you want to go back and watch this video in its entirety, and also go ahead and maybe give them a thumbs up on their channel as well, because they are the ones that created this content and I'm just simply using it to do a reaction video. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe if you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Share it everywhere. Share it on Reddit, share it on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever you spend your time on social media. Or you can even text it or email it to somebody. Who knows? I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.